Hi everyone, my name is Naomi Sylvester, and today we're going to be looking at final land use analysis and environmental impacts for the Eastland Lake Coal Lease. So a little bit of overview about this EIS. The Eastland Lake watershed is located in Wayne County. It was built by the United States Army Corps of Engineers um, back in the 60s, and it is to provide um, just the environment with a little bit of leeway in terms of flooding. So the EIS presents an analysis of environmental and social impacts that would result from underground mining of federal coal in the Colesburg Winifred seam to the Eastland Lake and watershed in Wayne County. Even though this is happening in Wayne County, this has impacts on Huntington, West Virginia, Ironton, Ohio, and Ashland, Kentucky. This is back in 2009. The United States Department of Interior Bureau of Land Management is conducting this EIS. Back in the 60s, this project was $31 million. The importance is high because of the state of the people in this area. There's a very high amount of people, or there's a lot of people who are living in poverty. So it has social implications specific to that. So the proposed action is to offer federal coal in Colesburg, Winifred, seam for competitive leasing and efforts to best manage the coal resources, reduce dependency on foreign nations, and minimize negative environmental impacts related to the use of coal, and optimize positive economic impacts related to the use of coal. The cooperating agencies are the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers in Huntington, West Virginia Division of Natural Resources, the U.S. Office of Surface Mining, Reclamation, and Enforcement, the U.S. Bureau of Land Management. They are the lead agency. The rest above are just in alliance with them. And the U.S. EPA and the Council on Environmental Quality provide oversight capabilities to the process. So it's very difficult finding people on this document. There was only one person who was listed as a responsible official for the EIS, and pretty explicitly said that they just wrote it up. There's no indication of sociologists working on the social implications, public involvement, data collection, anything like that. I found that to be concerning. There should be some indication of individuals working on the assessment. So here's a map of the Eastland Lake project. As you can see where the lake is, that would be the valley, and all around it would be mountains. There's a lot of cemeteries, but this land was bought by the Army Corps of Engineers with taxpayer dollars from Wayne County. So this really is for the people, which makes it tricky when they're talking about leasing the land to mine coal. Reasons to conduct an SIA: due to this project potentially impacting the watershed, it's necessary. It could result in unsafe drinking water for these people, which is really unfortunate because there's already levels of oppression, it just in terms of living in poverty. The state of West Virginia is fragile due to their specialization. They really rely on being able to mine, or like any sort of mining, actually, like sand or rock, all of those things. And natural resources are a main source of income for these people. As of 2000, there was an unemployment rate of 19.6%, which is crazy high. So a lot of these people don't even have jobs. Probably, there's very little opportunity there. This document did hit a lot on Appalachian attachment and people and values. So with that, that's important to conduct an SIA because this this is family and land. And in the document, it stated that this attachment to land and family is driven from this belief and value in them to maximize the land that they've been given to provide for their family. So yeah, that's a huge reason, because that could cause a lot of social implications if these people, if the land is completely taken away from them. So in terms of data collection, there was very little indication of extensive processes with this. There was comments and letters, but that was pretty much the only source of data that I could find in this document, minus the scientific stuff. In terms of people, there was unemployment rate and population, things like that, but there was no explicit process of this is how we're going to collect the data to hear from the people or to learn more about the people. And because of this, I feel like there were variables of concern that had to have been missed because not everybody, I think, had been reached. And there needs to be stronger data collection to cover those areas of concern and supporting data that shows the concern. So in terms of comparative analysis, I could find one spot where they talked about a proposed action with no specific location. So they basically said, if this were to happen, if this proposed action were to be implemented, it's expected to provide social and economic benefits. So, and then followed that up with a no action alternative, that would result in slightly better air quality, but the loss of 500 to 600 jobs. So, yeah, I just didn't, it wasn't transparent, is what I'm trying to say. In terms of public involvement, we kind of touched on this before. Comments were submitted during 4 public hearings. There was a public socioeconomic workshop that was held. That was really interesting. I'm happy that they did that. They pretty much just got to answer all economic questions that people had and teach them a little bit. That's literally what the document said. And then there was 135 days for a public review of the document. That's, when everything was collected. And then post this document being published, there was a public protest period that was announced, and that was 30 days for those who were adversely affected. In terms of social impacts, this is a lot. There's a lot of trade-off with this, especially in terms of environmental implications. So going ahead with the proposed action, which is to allow the Land Bureau of Management to offer federal coal in the Colesburg-Winifred seam for competitive leasing. So basically saying putting coal mines on this land that would create jobs for the local area. Miners, related contractors, related manufacturers, they would all be in business through this. But with that, and I know this firsthand because my family's from this area, there's a lot of health concerns that go along with that. There's a lot of implications for air quality in general. So with that, it's like money or health. And then if they were to go along with this proposed action, hundreds of thousands of government dollars would go to schools and throughout the community. This is an impoverished area with a poor school system. If more money were to go to schools and throughout the community, that would be huge. That would be a great thing. People would look at that and be like, yes, let's do it then. But there's pollution of groundwater that comes with it, or a potential of that. So it may result in unsafe drinking water. So it's like good schools, poor drinking water. And then just the whole idea that this land was purchased by the Army Corps of Engineers with taxpayer dollars. So that just results in people not having immediate rights to their land, which is just pretty sad. In terms of mitigation strategies for social concerns, the only mitigation strategy I could find was concerns for the natural environment after mining decreases tourism. And they said that they would reclaim the land. So, yeah, ultimately, the EIS stated that there was no significant impacts to social conditions. So, just pretty washed over with that one. Okay, in all, yes, there were 4 of the 6 principles for SIA that were met. There were, so for scientific research, there was no scientific research. I couldn't find anything that was of that area. And then there was information for decision making that was provided, but I believe that was in the best interest of industry and not people. It would be like, you guys are taking away our land that we paid for. And they'd respond and be like, but we're giving you jobs, you know? So it just felt like it was skewed. For the final grade of this SIA, I gave it a B minus. The SIA failed to execute methods and data collection in a transparent way, but ultimately sided with providing the people economically while mitigating environmentally. So, yeah. In total, it was really interesting. I loved learning about it and digging in to what is happening in Wayne, or happened actually in 2009 in Waynes County. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed and learned something. Hope you have a great day. How do I turn this off?